get sent to the office. Hello, kitty. I get sent to the office. My mom was in the office in tears, in shambles, sobbing. I'm thinking one of our relatives just died. I'm like, what's going on? She gets me in the car. We're like 30 minutes from the school. She gets home, she turns on the news, and it's the Sandy Hook footage that we were about 30 minutes from, give or take. And we're watching the 27 students, the school teachers, the whole story, and she is just in shambles. She's like, I hate seeing things like this. It makes me want to take you out of school. Just so horribly paranoid. And then it got to the point where they were talking about having our teachers bear arms in class. One of my favorite teachers, my 7th and 8th grade social studies teachers, he was a Marine. They were trying to make him carry a gun in school, still by the time that I joined his class and was old enough to be in that class. And he was like, I just am so uncomfortable because I feel like so many things can go wrong with that. But I get the concern. Then I moved to South Carolina. I went to a school where you go in the morning and you have to have your bag checked thoroughly every morning. I'm just gonna leave it there at that point. You have to have your bag checked thoroughly every morning in a line. Even if you're late, there are groups of teachers standing right there to do so. You have to walk through a metal detector. Some kids have to have their shoes searched. Every day, regardless, no matter what, you have to have all your shit checked. There were 2 active shooters in that building. It's not a sob story. I'm not trying to fix anything. You think we don't need gun control. What do you say to kids that are covering themselves in their classmates' blood? Playing dead. What do you think about that? You don't have any comments? It's not a fucking sob story. It's an objective fact that these things happened. I don't understand grade years. Well, in 3rd grade, I would have been 8, and my sophomore year, I probably would have been 15. Yeah. It is a gun issue. It is. It's a matter of how you conceal your weapons. A lot of parents are just owning firearms, and they have their kids in the house, and they're not concealing them properly, which is a gun issue, believe it or not, because it's irresponsible people owning guns. People who are not practicing gun safety are getting their hands on firearms. It's a matter of the illegal distribution of street guns that it needs to be cracked down on. It's a matter of a lot of things, but guns, to pretend that they're not a component in that issue is just delusional. Because they are, objectively. The police are a big issue too. You want to talk about Uvalde? The police, an entire police unit was outside of Uvalde in Texas while it was being shot up for 75 fucking minutes, and they didn't go in there. They were waiting for backup. Not one went in there. They let so many people die to the point where a mother ran in to a 2nd grade classroom and took her kid out of the room with one of his friends. And then they tried to fucking arrest her and made like a fucking smear campaign against her because she did more than they did, and it was a bad look on their unit. Right. We need gun control to a degree. There are certain kinds of weapons we shouldn't have. I'm not completely agnostic on the issue. I also just think more women should be comfortable with practicing self-defense and knowing how to shoot a gun and getting a permit for it. Those things can coexist. They don't directly contradict. Instagram? I don't know. No. Ideally, we wouldn't have guns at all, because, ideally, we wouldn't have war and fucking crime. Ideally, none of this would be happening, but it is. So in countries where these rates are high, people are obviously going to want to defend themselves and have the means to do so. And countries where these rates are not as high, and there's really no demand for that kind of self-defense to the same degree, if they don't have them and that system's working, then that system's working. In La La Land, whatever you want to call it, dude. What time is it? Except, oh my god, I'm not on East Coast time anymore. That's crazy. I never change anything. Insanity is when you you don't change any of the things you're doing and you still expect the same results. I'm not in a position of power to do anything. I'm just having these conversations because they directly affect me, believe it or not. I'm talking about these things because they matter to me, not that I can change them or not that I have a solution, because even if I did, how would I propose it? I wouldn't, because I'm not in a position of power. I'm 20, I'm not even old enough to be fucking involved in Congress. We go to jail for defending ourselves in Canada? Despite popular belief, it all depends on the standard ground laws. So in the U.S., there are states where that can happen as well, and it does happen. Gun laws affect law-abiding citizens. Oh. But having no kind of legislation upon them and making them so easily accessible also affects law-abiding citizens because they're getting shot in the face. Can I see your nails? Well, sure. What time is it Minnesota time? Does anybody know? What time zone is this even called? Gee. Were you studious? Barely. Thank you. I hated math, but I got an A in like everything else.